Hey, my people. Good morning. It's Friday. It's the end of another good week. Driving to work this morning, and I was thinking about something, and I felt like the there was an opportunity to discuss this with y'all on the way to work, kind of set you up for success, if you will, as you head into your weekend. Um, there's a lot of things going on. People, catching up from their busy weeks, taking care of business on the weekend, spending time with their families. But if you're a lot like me, and in a position in my life, a number of years ago, I kind of had an epiphany that came on the back of this nagging feeling, or this nagging you know uh, thought that I had, and it was really around you know the feeling that we're just working to survive. And if you're in a similar situation, and you're just working, feel like you're just working to survive, you don't feel like you're living, don't feel like you're getting ahead, you're kind of just treading water, then I'm glad you found this video, because let's talk about it. We've got about a half an hour as I drive to work, and kind of discuss it, because how are you going to change it? And I think what a lot of people do, and certainly one of the things that I did was, I was looking for other opportunities, side hustles, if you will. It seems to be the rage these days. Um, uh, Opportunities abound around you. Uh, Advertisements for side hustles. This, whatever it may be. I don't even want to get into that. Too many to number. But I think what they're really geared towards, uh, you know, preying on, you know, your sense of desperation, if you will, or hope that things can be better. And you may even be, uh, you know, contemplating trying one, or you already have. And then if you have, I'd be curious to hear how it worked out for you. But, if you're watching this video, I would say that, you know, probably hasn't resulted in what you thought it was going to result in. So what real options are there? You know, well, I think you could get another job, a second job. That's been a tactic that's been employed by, you know, generation after generation. And all that really results in, more time away from home, more time away from your family, your loved ones, missing baseball games with the kids, recitals at school, uh, you know, and and that's really no way to live. That really is just surviving. And time goes by quickly. Kids grow up, uh, and you know, why should you have to miss it? Well, I don't think you do. And you know, you could start a business. If you've got the financial capacity to do that, um, or you could, if you've got a skill, maybe you know how to fix things, maybe you're not afraid of hard work. You go out there and you can bust your ass, and you'll make that extra money, because you know uh, hard work generally produces a result uh, that you can make money off of. But I think you're trading time for money. So what other options are there? Well, I would recommend that you investigate trading, trading stocks, trading futures, and not from a typical investor standpoint. That's a good practice. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I have investments that I hold for the long term, but I'm talking about a concept of trading where the time that you're in the market is much less, and you know the typical time I'm in the market is anywhere from a couple of hours. Typically, it's a day, maybe 2 days, maybe 3 days at the most. Generally, if the outcome hasn't been achieved in 3 days, I'm looking to close out the position and look for another one. Trading futures, which it's if you watch any of my videos, that's pretty much what I'm talking about, because that's an area uh, that I decided to get into, and where my focus is at. Futures are similar to options. I'm sure options are a more familiar term. Maybe not the concept of how to do it, but just you probably heard about it at some point in your life. But futures trading is very lucrative, um, and the risk is is not high. The profits are marginal. They're respectable. Um, and you know, I guess the real question is, if you're really serious about looking to do something different, or looking to do something in addition to your regular job that doesn't require a tremendous amount of time, added to your already busy schedule. Uh, Trading is it. I mean, it's been good to me. Um, there is a learning curve. There is there is an investment of time that you need to put into it to learn about it. I mean, just like anything or any new thing that you may try to do. Uh, the smart person will not just dive into the deep end, but they'll they'll start out in shallow water, and and learn about learn about how to trade. And you know oh my gosh, we got a car that had a bad night out there. Had a pretty bad storm last night. The car kind of buried in the grassy area between the opposing lanes on the highway. That sucks. Um, but anyway, um, getting back to what I was talking about, I would really look at trading, and it doesn't take a lot of money to get started. You know, the way that I trade. I opened up my brokerage account with $5,000. Um, I think you could do it with three, um, but 5,000 gives you a little bit of breathing room in the beginning. Um, so if you don't have that money, while you're saving it, you've got an opportunity to learn. Maybe jump on Audible or Kindle, or head down to your local bookstore and you know pick up a book on trading, read it. Understand understand the moving parts and the tools that are available at your disposal. Um, what you're looking for is just a you know an entry level book uh, to kind of open your eyes and explain to you, how the mechanics of trading works. You know, what's a chart look like? What's a candlestick? How do you enter a trade? How do you manage risk? When you're trading, um, and then you'll become curious. You'll become more curious, and if at the end of reading that book, you know, you're you're interested in learning how to trade, it's piqued your interest, and you think it's something that you can do, then you know continue. There's a number of videos on my channel um, that are more academic, uh, and you know certainly a healthy resource of information. Um, I started filming these videos for my kids to memorialize them on YouTube. Instead of the old memory stick that sits in the bottom of a drawer that no one seems to be able to remember what's on it. I thought I'll film these videos for my kids so that when they get older, they become interested. They'll have something to refer back to and learn. Because right now, you know, it's not important to them, and of course they know about it because they see Dad doing it, but that's just something that the Dad's doing. And YouTube, I don't think is going away, so I feel like it was a safe place to memorialize the videos, and I really enjoyed making them, and there's a number of them on there. So knowing that there's a whole world of people out there that are seeking out information, I decided to keep making them. And to talk about you know common themes of issues that you'll need to overcome, kind of geared towards framing the way that you think about trading, how you approach trading, you know, because after you learn the basics, and you're ready to, you think you're ready to start trading, a whole new world of issues is going to arise, and they're really a result of excuse me, your personality type, your experiences that you've had in life, how you handle your emotions. Um, because once you've got real money on the line, you know, you're going to be flooded with emotions. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be scary. It's going to be confusing. It's going to be frustrating. Probably more frustrating than exciting. Always starts with excitement, but it very quickly turns to frustration in the beginning. The way that a lot of people, get into the markets early when they're just starting out. I had some similar experiences, but I learned to overcome them. And trading isn't about how smart you are. I don't think it's more about how you approach trading from a mental perspective is more important than I think any level of aptitude. if you're a technical person or technical thinker like I am, you're gonna be always trying to figure out and tweak things and you know use those analytical skills that you've developed over the years to really try to find out the secrets or how to approach trading from a purely mechanical standpoint. Um, but you're gonna have to adjust your mental angle, if you will. And there's a good book out there that you could read on the subject, or if you just want to listen to it or watch it. The author did a good job uh, making a video about it. It's a few hours long, uh, but it's called Trading in the Zone, and the guy's name is Mark Douglas, and that was a very eye-opening book that I read. I also watched the video, that's how I knew about it. Matter of fact, I think I saw the video first and then read the book, bought the book. I refer back to it all the time. But it's a book that breaks down, in plain English, very easy to understand, what I'm talking about. Struggles that you'll face and tools to overcome your emotions when you're learning how to trade. Because the mechanics of entering a trade are fairly simple. Once you learn them, it's how you manage your emotions after the fact that will determine your success or failure. One concept you're going to want to become very familiar with is back testing, and really what that is taking an idea, a trading strategy that you've heard about, an indicator that you may have read about, and testing it against historical data, um, and seeing if it'll work. And there's videos on my channel, around back testing. Check them out. It'll explain it to you in great detail. But it's a very powerful tool to see if if your trading strategy or your trading idea, would have stacked up, um, and won in the past. Now, there's no guarantee in the future, but trading is a game of probabilities, and it's a numbers game. It's your success or failure doesn't come on the back of any one winning trade or losing trade. It comes on the back of a block of trades or the winning percentage of your strategy. And the winning percentage of your strategy you can calculate by backtesting it, like I said, against historical data. Um, so check it out. Um, but trading in the beginning is difficult. It can be difficult, because you're entering trading to make money. And in the beginning you're going to, you probably don't have, enough capital to really get involved in a large position size or multiple contracts in the futures market. But you don't need to. You need to prove to yourself. Prove to yourself that you've got a repeatable system. So once you've back tested your system and determined that you've got the ability to, or that your system had the ability to win a high percentage of the time, you know, upper 80s to mid to low 90 percentile, then you've got a winning recipe. Now you just got to execute it. Uh, you know, by back testing it against historical data and coming up with that winning percentile we just talked about. After you've tweaked it, tested it out, and back tested it again, and you know, uh, and prove to yourself that at least historically it worked. It should raise your confidence so that when you enter a trade in the market, you've got an edge. Much like a casino in Vegas, it's got a small edge over the amount of players that walk through the door every day, and look what they're able to build. Um, but in the beginning, when you trade in one contract of whatever futures commodity you may be looking at, um, I specifically focus on the financial markets, specifically bonds. You know, U.S. 30-year bonds. Trading symbol is ZB. Um, you know, the typical winning amount on a single contract of ZB futures, at least for me, is in the $600 to $900 range on one contract. And in order to trade CB, that's where I was referring to that $5,000 amount in your trading account, because the daily maintenance margin to hold the trade overnight currently is about $3,500. So you got about a $1,500 of breathing room, while you're in the market live. So, the game is, or the end goal is, start off with one contract, confirm in the live markets that you're able to execute your trading system like you did in a simulated market backtesting. Backtesting doesn't involve any, putting any real money at risk. But when you're trading live, it does. That's where those emotions come from. If you didn't backtest your system and develop confidence in it, that would be missing from your mental tool bag, while you were trading. Because you're going to lose from time to time. It's going to happen. It's just the name of the game. There's no guarantees. But with a sound back-tested strategy that showed repeatable success while backtesting, there's no real explanation I can think of that wouldn't allow you to see a similar result in the real market. Unless, of course, from emotional standpoint, you're just not able to follow it, because you've got to execute it in the live market just like you did testing it, or it's not the same set of parameters. And then as you win a few trades and you increase the amount of money in your trading account, you're able to, at some point in the future, add a second contract, and then a third contract. It's much like starting a business. In the beginning, you're starting off small, and then you're building your business so that you can rake in higher profits. And it's the same concept of trading, but it takes patience. Um, and focus on an area. Don't be all over the map. Learn a particular market. Like I said, I focus on bonds, 30-year bonds. You may want to look at, you know, futures that are a derivative of the S&P 500 or the Dow or, you know, some other index. It doesn't really matter. Just learn it. Learn how it moves. You know, get in tune with how it moves. You know, because a lot of these instruments, react to world news. They react to financial reports that come out, things of that nature. The economy, interest rates, inflation. It all affects the markets. Um, and you'll learn, when it's safer to just stand on the sidelines, and wait for the right time to enter. And you'll find success. I can almost guarantee it. If you approach trading from a perspective of learning how the markets move, and speaking of that, how the markets move, there's a link in the video description of this video that you're watching, uh, uh, to a PDF that I have, on my website that you can download for free. That I think is a great read for someone who's, wanting to learn the concept of how the markets move. It's got a lot of information in it. You'll enter your email address. It's immediately available to you. Download it, keep it, print it out, read it, do whatever you want with it. But I think it's a pretty valuable resource, for you to further explore what I'm talking about. Um, and you really can build a business out of trading. And really all it's going to take is an investment of your time. You're going to need to save a little bit of money because obviously to trade you got to have some money. A few $1,000. I recommend $5. As a little side note, my trigger to potentially add another contract to my trading size is another $7,000 in my account. I use $7,000 per contract as a baseline benchmark, to determine how many contracts I'm willing to put in play at any one time. That's just how I do it. A little bit more of a cushion, but as your account size grows, it's just the way that I approach it. Um, so as you go into the weekend, when you're recovering from another long week at work, or maybe want something to chew on what you can do to create some freedom in your life, how you can add some extra money, without having to get another job, without having to to go into debt to try to start a business. Think about trading. Watch some of the videos on my channel. Go down to the bookstore, grab a book. Read about it. If it's something that you're interested in, go for it. Because for a working guy with a family, it's been very good to me. And I know it can be good to you, but like I said, nothing comes for free. You get out of things what you put into it, and trading's no different. But yeah, if you got any questions, or if you like the video, drop a comment. I read them all. I'd like to be able to answer questions you guys might have. Maybe talk further, about the subject. But I'm at work. I'm getting ready to enter the plant. You guys have a great weekend. And I'll see you on the next clip.